Thanks for staying with us. The Nigerian Customs Service has surpassed the revenue target for 2021 as approved by the Nigerian government. Also on Customs report, the CG continues to educate members of the National Assembly on the revenue collection as approved by government. Plus more report on the siege of goods by various commands in the country. I am Igisema Engineer. Stay tuned. The Customs Controller General has said in 2021 that he told members of the National Assembly that the Customs will surpass its 2021 targets in spite of the COVID-19 problem facing the world. What he said has come to pass by December 2021. The Customs has generated over 2 trillion as against 1.16 trillion for 2021. It speaks more on a number of issues.
The most non-compliant group of people. I must say this and say it with all sense of responsibility. If we measure in terms of compliance, our people are not ready to comply. And therefore, you find out that for every 10 container that we examine, you hardly find 5, in most cases, that are fully in line with declaration. The rest are either under-declared, in connivance between the importers, the freight forwarders, and of course our officers in some cases. So this is one of the fundamental reasons why smuggling still continues to strive. Along our borders, Mr. Chairman, distinguished members, we have put in place what we feel is adequate in terms of managing smuggling. We have a 3-layer enforcement. We have the area commands that are deployed in the borders. We have the federal operation units, and we have the strike force, which are always on standby for any credible information to strike. These have yielded adequate result, but certainly that has not curbed smuggling. And I must say here, Mr. Chairman, that for us to stop smuggling completely is probably unheard of. But we are working assiduously to reduce it to the barest minimum. And we need a lot of other input in terms of technology, in terms of manpower, and of course, most importantly, Mr. Chairman, is that I've said this in so many forums, and I will repeat it here, is that the non-cooperation of our border citizens is one of our biggest problems. And I don't blame them, because when you go to these border communities, Mr. Chairman, you find out that in most cases, there's no governance, there's no presence of government there. They don't have water. Some of them have to cross to the other countries to be able to get medical attention. And so when we contact them and begin to talk to them for cooperation, they looked at us with some strange face, because they don't understand why they should cooperate with us. And it's true, because we don't provide anything to them. We have border management committee, nothing is happening. We have made cases and complaints, nothing is happening. And these people, in most cases, are the ones that turn around to support smugglers to fight us. So in a nutshell, it must be, all hands must be on deck for us to be able to reduce smuggling at the border, which then means the communities living along our borders must be brought into this government. They must see the reason why they should support government agencies in fighting smuggling. Because in most cases, the smugglers have money, they give them job, because yes, they employ them to go and move rice or whatever it is across the border, and they pay them. That's the employment. Despite the fact that the National Assembly has put in everything that is necessary to get us moving and collecting the targeted revenue. Mr. Chairman, let me start by saying, unlike my brother in the NNPC, the job of customs is unpredictable. We rely on the market forces that drives the import of items into Nigeria. And as of today, Mr. Chairman, the bulk of our revenue comes from import. In most climes where the customs collect revenue, they rely mostly on excise. And that means the production within the country. Today in Nigeria, as you know very well, Mr. Chairman, the only excise we are authorized to collect is on tobacco and alcoholic beverages. All other industries that produces in Nigeria do not pay excise. And therefore, we narrowed ourselves to that unpredictable ground where we don't have any control as regards the influx of import. And therefore, we are therefore vulnerable to the fact that we can only act with what has been imported. And 2021, we are in fact grateful to God that in 2020, despite the COVID-19, we realized an upgrade with regards to the revenue. And as then, we were able to garner total collection of about 1.5 trillion. And as of today, Mr. Chairman, in the first 6 months of this year, 2021, we were able to make 1.02 trillion. So it then means that we are realizing steady growth in terms of total collection of our revenue. And it is our belief, Mr. Chairman, that if the trajectory continues at this level, then the chances are that we will be collecting at the end of the year an amount to about 2 trillion or 2 trillion plus. That is attributed to the fact that as COVID is subsiding, the market is opening, people are importing. But we do not, and I want to say this, looking far to the future, the issue of import should not be the basis of our revenue collection. We must encourage our own production within the country and therefore expand our excise base. Today we have sung this song several times, that we are supposed to be collecting excise on carbonated drinks. The policy of government is to reduce the consumption of items that are injurious to our health. And that is why alcoholic beverages are being taxed, and we are collecting excise. Tobacco, we are collecting. Today, Coca-Cola is produced in Nigeria and paying no excise. It's only in Nigeria that you find Coca-Cola products and they're not paying excise duty. All other carbonated drinks are also injurious to our health. So if we equally tax tobacco and alcoholic beverages, I see no reason why we should not tax the carbonated drinks.
The Deputy National Public Education Officer at the Nigerian Customs Service is briefing stakeholders in the maritime industry on revenue generation as approved by government in 2021 in Lagos. So the Nigerian Customs Service has also surpassed the revenue target as approved by government. He has this to say.
The service has generated well over 2.3 trillion naira so far, well over that. Our target, as I said earlier on, was 1.679 trillion, and we've done remarkably well in that regard. Hopefully in a few days' time, when the year comes to an end, we are going to get the comprehensive numbers as to exactly how much the service has raised. And as my controller mentioned earlier, Apapa, Tinkan, the major ports have seen significant increases. And this is due to interventions made by officers. It is not in any way to stifle trade, but it is to enhance the system using the robust risk management mechanisms of the service. And these are tools that are available for us as custom officers to use to see that not only do we facilitate people that are doing the right thing, but we are able to control those that are not. And I think to a great extent, we've achieved remarkable results. I'm surprised that a lot of people don't know, to what extent that the Nigerian Customs Service has automated its services. I'm sure agents here can, throw more light on that with respect to journalists that may not know. Our services are almost fully automated, because there's nothing that an importer or an agent wants in terms of, let's say, information before you even import, and you want to know what are the items that are prohibited that you cannot bring in. You can go online, you can go to our website and check there, and you know. If you want to find out about procedures, you can go online and still get that information. If you want to know HS codes for items that you want to import, we have the facility there online that can give you all that information. If you want to make a declaration at the point of import, even from the time where you, after opening your proforma invoice and you want to open your Form M through the banks, it is all an automated process. There is no piece of paper, not one single piece of paper, that needs to be submitted for you to process anything in the Nigerian Customs Service. Everything is done right there in the system, and it is seen live by anybody who is authorized to do so. And that is how far we've gone with regards. And yes, it's an e-platform. And, as I said, it's web-based. Some of them are mobile-based applications that you can access even from your phones. You can sit in your home, you can sit in your bedroom, or whichever place you want to access our system, do an assessment, do a declaration, make a payment. Because, of course, we all transfer money from our phones. So the system enables all those kind of activities, and you do just with the help of a mobile device. It's a seamless, very effective system, and we've been enjoying it. Yes, there's no other simplification, no other automation that is beyond what is currently available. And it has been available for quite a while now.
You are watching the program Customs Report. The Apapa Customs Command has been able to block all the loopholes that could have created an avenue for revenue leakages in the country. The Customs Area Controller said that the percentage of the compliance at the Apapa port is high.
This perspective, I'll just give you a brief on what is called trade facilitation. Always people talk about facilitation of trade, facilitation of trade, facilitation of trade. Facilitate trade, custom facilitate trade, custom facilitate trade, without knowing the actual meaning of trade facilitation. So the real meaning of facilitation of trade is facilitation of honest and transparent trade. Mean harmonization, standardization, modernization, automation of trade procedures in the trade supply chain by deploying minimal resources in order to get a volume of output. What did we do there? we have deployed a lot of tools to ensure that trade is being facilitated. One of the tools is the use of fast track to ensure that people carry their cargo out of the port without necessarily accumulating damages. We organize a one-stop shop so that dispute can be resolved amicably. We also organize the use of provisional release where there's a dispute so that you can carry cargo to your premises while the process is still on. The NCS is also making sure that the deployment of scanners to ensure the use of selectivity in the trade supply chain so that items that are suspicious should be going for physical examination while those that are not suspicious will be released outrightly or go through documentary checks. All these are trade facilitation. But we cannot continue talking about trade facilitation without making sure that the compliance level of traders are low. It is only when you are complying, then you enjoy trade facilitation. How did you comply?
So that with the return of the scanning machines, clearance of goods will be made faster in all the ports in the country.
The actual cargo you're having, declare the description of the cargo, declare the actual HS count of the cargo, declare the actual quantity of the cargo, and declare the actual value of that cargo. Declare the actual origin of that cargo. All these are issues that makes it a compliant trader. You cannot just go and make and hide under trade facilitation while you have a concealment inside your container. And you're talking about facilitation of trade. No. If that is trade facilitation, NCS will not facilitate such kind of trade because it is through trade facilitation that we can be able to get more revenue. Therefore, what we are saying here is for you to enjoy facilitation of trade, you must have a clean hand in displaying or making a honest and a transparent declaration. And that is what is called trade facilitation. People, our detractors, goes around saying that the revenue NCS are making is because they are not facilitating trade. They are making a huge revenue. No, my brothers. Trade is growing. Exchange rate is growing. We cannot stagnate ourselves in one level with the same kind of revenue. You understand? And the automation process through the use of NICES 2, which reveals a lot of gap. You understand? The use of forensic manifest management system, this audit system, all these are issues that reveals a lot of hidden agenda. So therefore, we must maintain a balance between trade facilitation and revenue generation. It is very important we understand what is trade facilitation, and it's very important we understand what is revenue generation, what is compliance, so that people will understand the whole issue of facilitation of trade.
He speaks on the scanning machines at the port.
We have an international price range of certain items, crude formalin, soya beans oil, some very, very important items is there in the international market price range. If you Google, you will see it. And once you have come down of it, we will now notice it and we just adjust the value to make sure that you pay appropriately because the value is very clear and you also know. And this value are seasonal. We understand it's seasonal and based on the season and the day you open your form or the day you purchase your item, that is the day we are going to calculate your duty based on that.
The customs management has distributed vehicles to all various commands and units in the country to be able to fight smuggling activities in the year 2022. One of the units that got the allocation for Zone C already said that the vehicles will further help to fight smugglers across the nation's borderline. The controller in charge of FOU Zone C has this to say on the vehicles as approved by government.
Initially we got 10 Hilux, brand new. Now we have these 4 Land Cruiser vehicles added to us. And these are just not ordinary Land Cruiser. They are specially modified and equipped to protect officers. They are modified and equipped. So now we have no excuse. All the terrains, our activities covers the south and the southeast. We have no excuse now. We have the manpower. That is the numerical strength. Our complaint used to be logistics, operation vehicles. We now have them. We have 14 brand new vehicles. We have no excuse whatsoever. We are grateful to the management, but as I always say, the best way to show gratitude is by our performance, through our performance. We should not disappoint the management. So I will not condone any act of indiscipline or laziness. We'll be all out for it. The management was so disturbed about the violent attacks on our officers, and they now choose to procure this vehicle, equip them. Good thing we have officers that all our officers are trained. I will go for more further training, capacity building on arms handling. So, gentlemen, you have to take things more serious. Yes, this is a new chapter. It's a new chapter. We have to change completely. We have to embrace the management, the CGC, and of course, our conscience. We are custom officers to suppress smuggling. So we are going through difficult times. In these days of insecurity, arms, ammunition, and other prohibited items must be stopped. It must be stopped. Our presence will be strongly felt in Akwa Ibom and Cross River now.
The Katsina Customs Command has again intercepted goods worth millions of naira for smugglers operating along the nation's borderline. The article said that these men are ever ready to implement government policies. He speaks on the seizures made by his command.
Jackknives, 140 pieces, valued at 462,000 naira. Pieces of small jackknives, 37 pieces, valued at 61,100 naira. Pieces of stick jackknives, 9 pieces, valued at 19,800. Bags of tiger nuts, 100 kg each. 31 bags, valued at 669,600 naira. A total of 14,407,500 naira. Now, when you go to the summary, we have 230 parcels of Indian hemp, cannabis sativa, from Ghana. Parcels of Indian hemp, cannabis sativa, 230 pieces, valued at 18,180,925 naira. Truck trailer used as a means of conveyance of Indian hemp, 25,972,268 naira. The total summary for items, 46,543,137 naira. Indian hemp, 18,180,925 naira. And the trucks, 25,972,268 naira. Vehicles, 14,407,500 naira. Grand total of duty paid value stand at 105,103,830 naira.
Just before I round up this week edition of the program Customs Report, we brought you reports where seizures made by some various commands in the country. What millions of naira was intercepted by Customs Command in the country. For me, Igeseme Edine, thanks for watching.